Alright, I saw this movie in theaters because I wanted to support Zack Snyder. I want him to know that I have his back, because for some reason Warner Brothers doesn't want to work with him anymore. I don't know why. But he does deserve to keep making movies. Army of the Dead. So Army of the Dead is written and directed by Zack Snyder, you know the name. He's a very stylistic kind of filmmaker. And this is like the first movie he's directed that's not a DC movie since like Man of Steel. So really this movie serves as a return to his roots. It stars Dave Bautista, he's a former mercenary, but now he's working at some little bakery. But Hiroyuki Sanada comes up to him, he's like, hey, there is a vault underneath one of the hotels in Las Vegas with a shit ton of money inside. So if you want some money, go put together a crew and break into that vault. And so Dave Bautista puts together a crew and they go on their mission. Only thing, Las Vegas has now become overrun with zombies. Yep, we got ourselves another Zack Snyder zombie movie. I mean, you figured that from the title. Although I'll admit I've never seen Zack Snyder's remake of Dawn of the Dead. I heard it was pretty good though. I will be honest though, full transparency, zombie stories were never really my thing. I understand that there's a big zombie craze, there's a big zombie apocalypse fan base out there, but I was never part of it. I mean, zombie stories are alright and all, but yeah, they were never my favorite form of entertainment. That's why I was never really interested in playing The Last of Us. That's why I never watched The Walking Dead. I've seen 28 Days Later though. That movie was alright. So really, already I'm going into this movie going, alright, I'm probably not going to love this movie. The fact is, I probably would have skipped out on this movie entirely if I didn't feel that Zack Snyder needed some support. What can I say? He's a filmmaker that I firmly believe in. Some people are gonna love this movie. They're zombie fans. I get it. So I might just be in the minority because I honestly didn't think this movie was all that good. But it's not because it's a zombie movie. I mean, zombie stories can be really cool. Paranorman is awesome. What? That's a zombie movie, partly anyway. The reason I wasn't a huge fan of this movie is because I did not give a shit about any of these characters. The one I care the most about is Dave Bautista because he's the main guy, and he's given some backstory, but even then I didn't care about him that much. And you might be thinking, dude, it's a zombie movie. You're not really supposed to care about the characters. But this movie actually tries to make you care about the characters by giving Dave Bautista some emotional moments, and really they just fall flat. And as for the rest of the crew, forget about it. I mean, some of these characters were cool. Some of the chicks in the crew were pretty hot, and they were cool-ish characters enough, I guess. And then, of course, there are the guys who are complete assholes, and you're like, oh man, this guy's gotta die, and when he does, it has to be horrific. Because, you know, every movie like this has a character like that. You know, the arrogant, stuck-up asshole who just has to die horribly. It's like a staple at this point. Which is all fine and dandy. If the movie is less than 2 hours long, sure, then it's like just a little romp. But the problem with this one, this movie is about 2.5 hours long, which honestly I should have expected. Zack Snyder is known for directing pretty long movies, sometimes anyway. But I honestly wasn't expecting this movie to be 2.5 hours long. I thought it was gonna be less than 2 hours. So quite a few times during this movie I felt it was dragging. I checked my watch about 5 times during this movie. When it was finally over, I was like, oh my god, that was 2.5 hours. I mean, the plot of this movie is pretty simple. There's a vault underneath a hotel in Las Vegas. Dave Bautista puts together a crew. They gotta go there. They gotta fight zombies and break into the vault. There you go. Pretty simple, right? So this movie should be less than 2 hours long. But this movie expands this plot so much by putting in like emotional character scenes that you just don't care about, and you feel like they drag the movie down. And I didn't care about the characters because this is just a zombie movie. Maybe that's my non-zombie fan coming out, but what can I say? That was just my mindset going into this. I thought I would be in for a fun time, but this movie has too many scenes that felt slow. The characters were just boring to me. And then when it came to the big zombie action scenes, I was like, alright, fun zombie stuff. And those were pretty entertaining scenes, I'm not gonna lie. But I can't say they were enough to save the movie for me. If you're a zombie fan watching this review, I do apologize. Please don't unsubscribe. But of course, this being a Zack Snyder movie, I did look for the Zack Snyder isms in here. I was like, alright, is there gonna be a lot of slow-mo? Is it gonna be brutal? Are there gonna be any deeper messages about society or anything in this movie? And really, no, I didn't really find a lot of Zack Snyder isms in Army of the Dead. There was not a lot of slow-mo. There was some, but not a whole lot. Although when the slow-mo did come up, I was like, alright, there's a Zack Snyder I know. And it was cool. I don't know, I guess Zack Snyder's Justice League made me grow to like Zack Snyder's slow-mo. I don't know what to say. I will say one thing I loved about this movie, the brutality. This is a rated R movie, and holy shit, it shows in certain scenes. Yeah, there are points where this movie gets really gory, really brutal in that slasher zombie movie kind of way. I mean, there's a death in this movie later on. I'm not gonna say what it is, but I was like, holy shit, that is the coolest part of the movie. I loved it. In fact, if that scene goes on YouTube later on, which it will, I will search for it and I will watch it again because yeah, that was some stuff. It was awesome. So yeah, when the movie goes for its balls to the wall feeling of just zombie-tastic gore and action, it's entertaining because, you know, every guy loves seeing that stuff. Even as a non-zombie fan, I was entertained at least, because during that awesome death scene, I was like, Oh, that was so brutal. The score in this movie was done by Tom Holkenborg, which actually I did not know until I saw this movie, and his name popped up during the opening credits. I was like, oh, look at that, that's cool. But really, the score was forgettable. I don't remember a single note from the score. There were some pretty good songs in the soundtrack, though. There is that. I was actually singing along with a couple of the songs during this movie, and that was fun. So in the end, Army of the Dead, Again, I'm not a huge zombie person, so yeah, there you go. If you're a zombie fan, then you might like this movie more than I did, but the slow, character emotional scenes might still drag it down for you. Because the movie really does try to make you care about these characters, and you just don't. The crew is fine, and you would want to hang out with them, sure. Well, maybe a couple of them. The others are just expendable, and some of the others are just stupid. Oh my god, some of the decisions that the characters make in this movie, I was like, why are you doing that? You're being stupid. Oh my god, pay attention to what's going on around you. The prologue of this movie, I was like, you're all being idiots. Pretty much let me know what kind of movie I was in for. So now I'm gonna give this movie one of my ratings, and I know this is going to be very ironic because this movie is actually going to be on Netflix in a week. But if you were planning on going to see this movie in theaters, I personally would say just don't, unless you want to support Zack Snyder, in which case, yes, by all means, go ahead. But if you don't feel as strongly about that cause as I do, and you're just wondering about this movie, then for Army of the Dead, I will say, wait until you can stream this movie online. Which, again, that'll be in just a week. So if you want to watch it on Netflix, go ahead. I'm sure Mr. Snyder will get some money out of that too. So what is your favorite zombie movie of all time? I told you mine. It counts. But whatever yours is, whatever you think, go ahead and leave a comment. And don't forget to subscribe.